Hi, my name's Jess and I'm from the HeadsUp project, and I am a Development and Skills Officer. Today we are going to look at creating a CV using Google Docs. This follows on from the IT skills video that Jeff created, where it showed you how to use Google Docs. If you haven't seen that video, maybe try and check it out first. In the last CV video, we discussed the 4 different types of CVs. Today we are going to concentrate on the chronological CV, as that is the most popular type of CV. Just to keep you updated, what I've done is I have logged into a Google account, I've gone onto the Google Docs, and I'm now in the template gallery. How to do that can be seen in our other IT videos. So when you are on the template gallery, you can see lots of different versions of documents here. There is a CV section right here. I would be mindful that they are named as resumes though, which means that they are quite American because we don't call it that over here. I wouldn't necessarily use any of these, however you might look at them and think that actually it meets what you're looking for. And you can also see letters. Some of these probably could be amended to make into covering letters, and then you've obviously got other sorts of documents when you scroll down. But we are going to just stick with a blank page for now. So we are going to click on this symbol and it will bring up a blank document. Straight away, I am going to name it a basic CV, just so later I can find it. I am going to create a really basic CV for you using the Google Docs application. We do have a video on that Jeff pulled together. So if you are finding it difficult to kind of keep up with the things I'm doing, go back and watch that video because it will really help. It shows you about all the different functions up here and how to use them. I am just going to make up someone's name. So my person is going to be called Jenny May. She's going to be from Harlow, and we are going to give her a phone number. Just put in a random one. We are also going to give her a professional email address. So nothing like crazycat100@gmail.com. It is going to be a professional one that employees could use. If you do need to add some numbers to it, maybe the account has been used, use random numbers. Do not use your date of birth or your year of birth, because obviously we don't want to give away this type of sensitive information. I am going to make this central, so center align, and I'm also going to just make her name a little bit bigger. We're now going to add a personal profile. So a personal profile should be a summary of your work experience, a little bit of your skills, but more importantly it should say what you have done, so how many years experience you've had within a certain sector, what you're currently doing, such as volunteering or if you're completing courses at the moment, and what you're hoping to go into, so focused on the sector that you're looking at. All of your personal profile should be focused at one type of job sector or one type of job role, and you should edit this for every single job you apply for so that you are matching up your skills and qualities to what they are looking for. So here you can see I have added a relatively simple personal profile just to show you what it looks like. I have made my first sentence about their experience, so their 10 years experience within their administrative sector. I've talked a little bit about their skills, what they're up to now, and then looking at what they want to go into. So I have tried to use language within this section to meet the needs of the administrative sector, so trying to use certain language that would appeal to the employer, and obviously when you do your CV you will use language that meets the sector of your choice. Now that we've got our personal profile here, what we're going to do is we are going to add a key skills section. It could also be called a key skills and achievements, but it's whatever your preference is. So ideally we would have between 6 and 8 points for our key skills. We would use bullet points just to make it clear for the employer who's looking at it. I'm now just going to list a couple just to show you what it would look like. So these are a couple of quick examples that I've just noted down, again trying to make it relevant to the admin roles. You would then list the rest down here, and once you have put in your key skills, you can have a little play around with the different kind of structures. It's quite nice to have the main skill in bold first with your backup kind of evidence after it. All this means is that when the employer looks straight away, he is going to be able to see these main skills highlighted. Very easy for them to see. Next up, we're going to add the employment history. The employment history needs to be with your most recent job role or volunteering first, and going backwards over the last between 10 to 15 years, depending on how much you've got. We don't want to go over that 2-page limit, so if you're listing every single job that you've ever had within the last 15 years and it does add up, it might be worth you only using those jobs that are most relevant. I'm now going to add just a couple of employment history examples just to see what it would look like, because at the moment it is coming together at the moment. Again, you do have to be mindful that everything we're doing together is obviously a personal preference, so it might be that this type of basic CV doesn't quite suit you and maybe you want to look at an alternative. There's lots of templates online that you can look at, but hopefully this is helping you just to see what bit goes where. So here you can see I've given a couple of examples for our admin CV that we're doing. You then carry on listing your points, including any duties you've had, any achievements you've had within that time, and trying to back up any of your points. Again, you can line these up and make it however you would like it to look, and then you would list them, go in with your most recent first, going all the way back, and there's different things you can do to have it all on one page, and you can just have a play around with how you would like it to look, as long as it looks the same all the way through. So if you've got a gap in between your personal profile and your text, it should go the same all the way down. Next, we are going to add a qualifications or education history. This will include any education you've been in or any qualifications you gained. It could also include training if you don't have many qualifications. I'm now just going to give you a little example of what your qualification section could look like. Here you can see I have given an example of some qualifications. I've also shown you two kind of different styles that you could have it in. It's up to you however you want to style it. Have a little play around, see what you think looks best. I would say that for your lower education, it depends as to whether you think the year you completed your lower education would be a reason that an employer would discriminate against you. So if it is a year that you feel that if the employer could work out your age from it and could become discriminatory, you don't need to include it. However, all these other more recent ones, I would definitely include the year in. For your GCSEs or your CSCs that you can write down as GCSE equivalent, all the employer needs to know is that you've got your maths and English. So don't worry too much about listing all your GCSEs, just make sure you have somewhere that you've got your maths and English. If you haven't got your maths and English yet, I would recommend trying to do a free course to get your maths and English qualification, because many employers require this for you to start employment with them. You have the option to add a hobbies and interest section. However, I would only ever use a hobbies and interest section if you have a particular hobby or interest that is relevant to the employer or is a very interesting hobby. If you're a black belt in karate or you do extreme sports and it's something that the employer may be impressed by or may have a starting point in a conversation within your interview, you can add it. But please try and stay away from generic phrases like spending time with the family, walking the dog, watching TV, things like that, just because these are not real hobbies and interests, and that will come through. If I'm completely honest, I never use a hobbies and interests in any of my CVs that I've ever created, just because I don't do anything interesting enough to warrant it. But it is totally up to you. If you would like to add it, it would just be simple enough as to say, I enjoy doing, and then listing these hobbies that are either particularly relevant to the job you're applying for or are very interesting and may give the employer something to chat to you about within the interview. The last section we are going to add together is references. Please do not add your references onto here. References should be given out when you are offered an interview. If you give references before that, it may give the employer the opportunity to find out information about you before having met you. You can write statements such as references available on request, and you can just leave it as that. Alternatively, if you feel it doesn't warrant its own section, you can just leave it as references available on request. Sometimes if you put it within the centre, it makes quite a nice summary because you've got your details here and then it kind of pulls it together at the bottom. If you're at the end of your 2 pages and can't quite fit it in, you don't necessarily have to have this sentence, so you can remove that if you wish. Just to look back through, we've got quite a nice looking CV. Obviously we'd have more text and more points, but just to keep a simple template of what it would look like, I have just pulled together a few bits like this. So, you know, making sure that everything's lined up, you'd go through all that. Everything's looking quite nice and smart. You've got all your sections laid out how they should be. You've got them in the right order, going for your most recent all the way back, and the employer will be able to look at this, have a quick look through here, see very clearly your skills, very clearly what jobs you've had and what things you've been doing within your jobs, what qualifications you have, hobbies and interests if you have anything relevant enough to add, and then they can receive your references on request once they've offered you an interview.
Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you found it helpful. If you're a participant on the HeadsUp project and you'd like to be supported by a development and skills officer, why not talk to your peer support worker about seeing what skill pods are available that you can tap into. On the other hand, if you stumbled across this video by accident and you live in Essex and you're unemployed and you'd like a bit of support to get back into work or educational training, why not have a look at our website? The link will be in the description below. I'll see you next time. Bye.